When life tosses you biscuits, make brunch. You guys caught me. I got some buttermilk and some unsalted butter. That's right, I'm making some biscuits today. It's the one thing that I love to bake because I know it works every single time. I'm gonna show you how to make a classic biscuit recipe, but then we're gonna take our biscuit dough and utilize it in a way that you didn't think about using biscuits, right? Today we're gonna take some biscuits that were day old and make some French toast out of them. We're gonna take some biscuit dough and make a ham and cheese sandwich with it. And then we're also gonna make some biscuit donuts with blueberry and lemon. Then we're gonna wash it all down with a chilled vanilla bourbon latte. When it comes to biscuit dough, you can use it in many different ways. It's great for brunch. All right, let's make some biscuits. So we have the dry ingredients in here. We have flour, all-purpose flour, baking powder, baking soda. We have a little bit of salt. So you just want to sort of mix those up so that they're evenly distributed. And then I'm gonna add some butter, some cubed, very cold butter, and it's important that it's cold. We want the sort of streaks of butter running through it. That's how you get those flaky biscuits. I'm actually gonna do it with my hands. You just want to squeeze the butter into the dry ingredients until it has almost like a cornmeal texture to it. All right, then I'm gonna take some buttermilk. Buttermilk is one of my favorite ingredients. I love using it in like waffles, pancakes, and of course some biscuits. It's a little tangy, and it really helps tenderize whatever batter you're making. So I'm just gonna incorporate the buttermilk into the dough. You know, you'll hear people say that you don't want to over-mix a biscuit dough, and it's true, because if you do, you're gonna get cakey biscuits, and we don't want them to be cakey, we want them to be flaky. All right, so I just kind of get it together so it's almost all incorporated, but not quite, and then what I do is I just put it on my cutting board, and then just kind of finish it, just until I get it all together. You can see the streaks of butter running through it. That means you did a good job incorporating the butter and not over-mixing the dough. This is actually my go-to biscuit dough, and I love serving biscuits on holidays. I like making it for breakfast. It's a really quick thing to make because you can throw the dough together, you can see, like just a couple of minutes, and then they take like 12 minutes to bake in the oven. You have fresh biscuits. I mean, there's really nothing better than fresh biscuits coming out of the oven. All right, so what I like to do is take a little bit of flour, and I take my biscuit cutter, just put them down just like that. And we're gonna make them a little bit thick today, so we can cut them for our French toast. And when you bake them in the oven, you want to give them some room so that they sort of brown on the edges as well. And we put them in the oven, 450 degrees. It's a very hot oven for about 12 to 14 minutes, and they'll let you know when they're done. Here's some biscuits that I made yesterday. I always make a lot of biscuits, and sometimes they don't all get eaten. So what are you gonna do with these biscuits? You're not tossing them out, right? You can reheat them in the oven, but I think an even better thing to do is kind of bring them back to life with a different process. So we're gonna actually make French toast out of the biscuits. Makes perfect sense because we're making brunch. So I'm gonna start by making my custard. I'm gonna use 5 eggs, and I'm gonna put a couple of yolks in there too to enrich the custard itself. And this is like any classic French toast recipe. We have our eggs, we have some half and half, we have some vanilla extract. Vanilla extract is one of those things where I always overshoot the recipe. If it says like 1 teaspoon, I put like 2 or 3. I just love vanilla. Some cinnamon, because I love cinnamon in French toast. I love cinnamon in general. I'm a cinnamon freak, I love it. And then a little bit of sweetener. You can use sugar if you want. I always have maple syrup around because I like serving it, of course, with my French toast and my pancakes and waffles and stuff like that. I love maple syrup. And so you can use that or some sugar or some honey, and then just whisk this up until it's all incorporated really well. All right, so we're going to cut our leftover biscuits in half. And the thing about this is when you have French toast, like classic French toast, you know, challah bread or white bread or whatever kind of bread you're using, you have to make sure that you soak it for at least probably 5 or 6 minutes or something like that. With these biscuits, these need to be soaked for like 30 minutes because otherwise the custard is just gonna surround the biscuits and it's not gonna soak in. So it really takes a little bit of time for this to happen. So this can be one of the first things you do when you're making this dish. Okay, we're gonna let those soak. And now we're going to make our syrup that's gonna go on top of the French toast. This is something called golden syrup. You could use honey, you could use maple syrup for this as well. This is a very southern product. It's basically cane sugar that's turned into syrup. So it's definitely gonna be sweet. Some cinnamon sticks. Now, the reason why I'm using cinnamon sticks as opposed to ground cinnamon is sometimes when you heat up ground cinnamon in some sort of solution, it gets like a weird texture to it. I've had that experience myself, so in this case, I'm just gonna use cinnamon sticks so that we just pick up the flavor and we're not gonna change the texture. Then we have some orange zest and orange juice, so obviously we're gonna harvest the zest first before we cut the oranges, so it's easier to get it. So much flavor in the zest of all citrus. Squeeze some juice in there. And we're just gonna let that steep. I'm gonna finish this can off, actually. Just heat it up slowly, just before it comes to a simmer. And then we just want the cinnamon and the orange to sort of become part of the flavor of the syrup itself. So that shouldn't take too long, maybe 10 minutes. All right, so while that's going, we have our biscuits soaking. We have our golden syrup with the cinnamon and the orange working. Now we're gonna make something to drink. We're gonna make a chilled espresso bourbon vanilla latte. I have some milk here I'm just gonna heat up, and that's gonna be the sort of the latte. We're gonna froth that up. And I'm gonna grab my chilled espresso in the refrigerator. All right, so we're gonna start with some ice in a mixing glass. Pour in our espresso, our chilled espresso. A little bit of vanilla simple syrup. Not too sweet. I don't like sweet drinks. And then some good quality bourbon. I'm gonna shake that up. Get it nice and cold. Frothy. I'm gonna take some hot milk. I love these things. If you don't have a world-class espresso machine at home, it's hard to get a good froth, but these things work really nicely. Just pumping air into the steamed milk, and it kind of lightens it up. Just pour it right on top, slowly. Latte time. Just a little bit of cinnamon. Lots of good things in here. Espresso, bourbon, vanilla, and some steamed milk, and a little cinnamon on top. These are all some of my favorite flavors, all in one glass. All right, so I'm gonna let the French toast soak in its custard. We're gonna fry those up. A little bit later, we're gonna make a ham and cheese sandwich with some biscuit dough. It's gonna be ham and cheese surrounded by biscuits. I mean, come on. You know that sounds good.
With advanced technology available on the Nissan Rogue, you'll be equipped to help protect the moments that matter most. This is tech that gives you confidence. Save $2,000 on Rogue or get 0% financing for up to 84 months on 14 models.
This is a California renter alert. Warning, Prop 21 allows rent increases on the lowest income Californians by up to 15%. It's why the California Council for Affordable Housing, California NAACP, the Congress for California Seniors, and Gavin Newsom say no on 21.
With advanced technology available on the Nissan Rogue, you'll be equipped to help protect the moments that matter most. This is tech that gives you confidence. Save $2,000 on Rogue or get 0% financing for up to 84 months on 14 models.
This election, all Californians will be able to vote safely from home. Every active registered voter will receive a vote-by-mail ballot with a unique barcode. You can track it using Where's My Ballot, and you'll receive automatic notifications by text, email, or voice call to let you know the status of your ballot once you mail it, drop it off at your polling place, or at a drop box. Vote-by-mail ballots. Simple, safe, secure, counted. Learn more at vote.ca.gov.
Beholden to powerful interests. That's what the Mercury News says about Dave Cortese. Cortese took thousands from police unions, voted to weaken oversight of police deadly force, and opposed ending for-profit cash bail. What did the Merc say about Ann Ravel? A proven record of integrity, fearless in speaking truth to power, a much-needed voice of conscience. Ann will fight for equal justice for every Californian. Join President Obama. Ann Ravel for State Senate, because your fight is her fight.
Things are a bit different now, but we're still here for you.
Eastside Union High School District continues to provide a safe and innovative learning environment for our community,
preparing students for success in college and career pathways.
raising the bar with more advanced placement classes than any charter school in the area.
With award-winning academies in engineering, computer science, and multimedia animation.
Things might be different now, but we're still here for you, as always.
Welcome to Eastside. Enroll today.
All right, we're back. It's all about biscuits today. If you like biscuits, you've come to the right place. I've had my day-old biscuits soaking in this French toast custard for about a half an hour. Now it's gonna be time to fry them up in a pan, get them nice and crusty. And we also have our syrup here, steeping with cinnamon and orange. Okay, so why don't we start by getting the butter in the pan for the French toast. You wanna have a good amount of butter in there. And we're gonna come over here to the stove, and we're gonna very carefully take the biscuits and put them into our saute pan. You can see I have like a slotted spatula here, so a lot of the excess of the custard doesn't follow us into the pan. It smells good already. And I think what I'll do is take out my cinnamon sticks.